Welcome back to Trekyards, everybody. I'm Captain Foley,
Oh, and Connor.
and today we're here to talk about the lore that is Star Trek. Because we love talking about Star Trek, it's what we do. But there's a lot of lore there, so I don't know what we're talking about specifically.
And be fair, Stuart, the lore can age gracefully. The lore doesn't have to be stuck in one place. You know, if the lore looks the same as it did years ago, that'd be strange. The lore has to age with us gracefully.
You say that, but we're a big proponent of keeping things looking like they should, because it's period piece.
I know, but I'm talking about the character lore, Stuart.
Oh, I'm way off track here. I saw lore. I knew we were talking about something. What are we talking about specifically?
Oh, Stuart, you're so funny. Yes, we know the lore. Brent Spiner as lore is in season 3. That was the big. Who's Brent playing? Mic drop lore. Obviously, that's a great choice. Now he has appeared in both trailers. This trailer shows a really good glimpse of his interesting expressions, but importantly, what he's wearing and what he's vibing. Very much a mystery of what he's doing in the season, how much or whatnot. But he's appeared in a Starfleet uniform. We'll get into that a little later as well. But is that maybe implying that he has been co-opted by Starfleet at some point? The last time we saw him was in the Renegade Borg episode. He was deconstructed, disassembled by Data and studied by Starfleet, never mentioned again. And that was many years ago. That was season 6 of TNG to 7, I believe. So that's like 25 years ago in universe. So he could have been anything since, or nothing since. I just thought
Did he get deconstructed by Data?
Mm-hmm.
I thought he pushed a little thing in his thumbnail and
after that time,
I never saw him again.
No, he got shot in the back or the front, and then turns him off, and then he says he took him apart. So he's in pieces somewhere.
Mm. We did see B4 in the drawer in season 1.
The drawer of B4.
B4 in a drawer. I'm not convinced it's a Starfleet uniform. It's Starfleet-esque. It looks more like something they would put on somebody that was like a temporary type of uniform. Doesn't look like there's going to be a badge on it. It doesn't have the lines. No rank pips, obviously. So I'm not 100% convinced it's an actual Starfleet uniform. I mean, in TOS and stuff, you see a lot of people that have duty suits that are similar, but they're just visiting the ship or whatever, or they're engineers. So I have a feeling something like that. But it is cool to see him in the colors again, for sure.
Yeah, and they could put him in anything and would be happy, but it's a specific note to uniform him. Such as Brent hasn't uniformed for since season 1. That was all flashbacky stuff, all that weird stuff. But it looks great on him. It's definitely tailored well. He's shaved face, right eyes. He's ready to play. So I'm hoping that's going to be an indication of yes, he's doing something official.
And yet another uniform added to the many, 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 many uniforms that we've been getting lately.
In the last 5 years, yeah. We have had more uniforms in 5 years than we have in 20.
It's true.
But it just intrigues me so much because there's no context here besides his being a bit monologue-y in an evil way. But that also could just be banter. Because he wasn't innately evil for a lot of it. He was a survivor. He was jealous of Data. He wanted to be better. He was selfish, yeah. But going from that to evil is devaluing the nuance of the character. And personally, I kind of like the idea that, and you said an idea as well, but I'll get into that in a minute, or you can bring up afterwards. But I like the idea that this other android is in Starfleet possession, at presumably given to the guy, the Maddox. I mean, at some point, one scientist would say, "Let's just reassemble him. We'll get more data. Oh, more information." There you go. Don't want to make a double joke there, but it's a useful tool to recreate the synapses. Maybe he was the baseline for the androids you see in Picard season 1 and part of why they get hacked. Maybe they retcon it, so he was the reason. He was the real reason for the synth attack. Lore went a bit mad because that's still not really resolved. But maybe he was a Section 31 agent. Maybe he was brought in by Starfleet intelligence. He's such a useful resource. I don't know why there wouldn't be one admiral. And in fairness, it could literally be Admiral Ross when he was working with Section 31 in DS9, because that's enough years after. I kind of like that he did stuff in between. He wasn't in a box and then now he's here,
Well, somebody mentioned in our live that could be why Moriarty's back, because Moriarty was actually, when he was first created, it was to rival Data, to defeat Data. So who else? If you need to defeat Lore, bring in Moriarty. So bring him back out of the holodeck.
Or vice versa, to defeat Moriarty, bring in Lore.
Yeah. So that's interesting. That's a good tie-in. But the thing you pointed out on the live was the thing plugged into the back of his neck, which we've seen a few times. And could it be that they're uploading Data's consciousness that was uploaded to B4 that B4 couldn't handle? Now they're pumping it into Lore. So we're going to get a mix of Data and Lore for a while. Perhaps maybe they're trying to do something in that regard. That's an interesting idea as well. Even though Data's had his day, he's had his day, and he had that death scene already.
His second death scene.
Yeah, but it'd be good to have him back with the rest of the cast for this final season as well. So I love that they got Brent Spiner back to be on screen with them all, but we need Data back a little bit. So I think, what if they're trying to reconstitute Data in Lore, and as the season progresses, you just see more and more Data come through? That might be very interesting.
Because the rationale between what we saw in Picard was that Lore Data before B4 was so ineffective that engrams broke down, does not mean for a second they couldn't save the data when they knew it was happening. There's no reason that the information that was Data's consciousness would be lost. No reason at all, right? That's a hugely silly thing to say. He's the most important officer, one of the most important officers in Starfleet, right? Fine. And if you recall, who Picard found at the end of season 1 was a recreated Data's engrams based on a single... It was a weird thing. They said based on a single memory engram, they recreated all of his personality, which is, again, a silly idea, but that's season 1 for you. So that wasn't actually the Data. That was a recreation of him, which then lived in this computer for years and years, whatever. So that wasn't the original files. So those are separate entities, and that Data wanted to die because he'd lived in that computer for years, and we both thought that was an odd idea. Maybe that one did, but the original Data I don't think would want to die that way if given a golem body, organic synth. There's more options for sure. I mean, Captain Picard is a testament to you can be a human who's a robot, who's entirely non-distinguishable to the point that no one mentions it. Brent, Data, and in fact he might be, this might be a Sung synth organic. He might have been updated. Maybe the other, I don't think it was Arik, but the other Sung, Adam Sung, he put Lore in a body 10 years ago. That could be another twist, which I'm fine with. I'm totally fine with. But yeah, if Data's original engrams, which were stored in stasis, put into Lore, either Lore has a death wish or a punishment, maybe massacres lots of people, I don't know. And then right at the end of the season, you get this interesting internal fight. He gets to play Data and Lore in the same scenes. We then get the caveat of Lore's body aged. Data's didn't. This one did. Then you have that dealt with. And then, by the end you get Data. He gets to live his dream. And it's the original Data. Although, would he then be killing his brother? I guess, yeah, he would be.
Kind of, yes. Or rehabilitating his brother.
But then he was also going to kill B4. Because that was always the idea. That was in the script. Like, he was becoming Data. So that, I guess, they've already said that the sentience factor of B4 was not worth it for Data's brain. So Lore is obviously more sentient, but they did it once. So I guess they've already...
Well, maybe as you said, Lore was responsible for the attack on Mars, and as a result, he's basically gets the death sentence to be deconstructed and just gone into oblivion. And the deal is, all right, well, instead of doing that, you can upload Data into my consciousness, thinking that he's going to be stronger than Data, and it turns out... So it's like a death sentence, and then not. I don't know how I feel about that, but it's an interesting idea.
Or even Lois said at one point, they reveal, maybe even we saw that scene of Raffi, Worf, and Riker entering that little facility room that kind of gave an android vibe. Maybe that's where the original engrams of Data are that are being studied for, what he knew. And Lore's given a chance to bring him back, save your brother. He thought he's been dead 15 years, and Lore's, change your heart. Maybe, who knows? But there's a lot of potential there, both with the original Data idea and the Lore idea, both either intermingled or separate.
And Lore has a good, interesting line of dialogue in the trailer, too. He says, survival. It's just so human, isn't it?
Data, he's so human, he kept surviving. Make a twist on that, yeah. But the next picture, though, Stuart, is what I want to compare to. You say it's not a Starfleet uniform, but this is what I think they're clearly hearkening to. And I think you can even, to some extent, see the lines that are black on the top picture, which used to be sort of yellow. I mean, it's a very, very similar fitting, even to the point of the collar has a split. So it's clearly a variation on this. Maybe it's there between this version and the Picard uniform. But I mean, it's symbolically about the same. So if this Data Law maybe was tasked with Starfleet duties, then ran away around this uniform, but he's kept the uniform because he's comfy. I don't know. But of all the uniforms, it's this. Like, you can tell it's this, a variation of this. So that must mean something with the era, when or where he was lost or whatever. It's so specific.
Possibly, yeah. It's different enough though. Like the black part in the middle doesn't go like. There's different changes. So, but
it's the only one. No other ones have that cut in the collar. This is the first one, the only one that does. So that's why I'm calling it. And it's a very Voyager cut. And you can see that on the left hand side it goes down further than the Voyager arm. You can just kind of sense it goes down a bit further. So it's yeah. Interesting is what it is, Stuart. And I encourage any show to utilise the Voyager basic cut, because it's damn crisp. Modify it fine, but that way of doing it is very, very nice.
Well, guys, we've harped on about this lore thing long enough. It's time for you guys to chime in the comment section down below. Please do so. Also, like the video, subscribe to the channel, click the notification bell icon to all so you don't miss any content from us, because we love doing these breakdown videos, and we'll be doing a lot of them during Season 3 for Picard, so you don't want to miss any. Also, we do a lot of lives where we can interact with you guys one-on-one. If you have a great idea, bounce it off us, we'll discuss it. So join us for the lives if you're able to.
And while you're there, Stuart, have your 2 cents figuratively, and put in your 2 cents also figuratively, because the minimum's like 99 cents. Put in a few dollars, support your favourite Trek channel and our breakdowns. It's all free at the point of entry, but we need that support to keep going for many years to come. So a $5 here, a $5 there, or a $50 if you feel the inkling. Thank you in advance. And monthly if you want to go monthly. Just again, $5 a month. You won't feel it, but we'll notice it. Patreon or join the channel on YouTube. Both are amazing ways, and both are super important. So thanks in advance.
And speaking of being super important, don't forget super thanks on videos like this that are edited. See? All right, guys. So until next time, he is Commander Cock.
He's got a photo. Bye, guys.
Bye, everybody.